Hello YouTube, The Eye of Stone here, and here we are celebrating The Eye of Stone's 300th video. The first thing I want to say is thank you to all my viewers, past, present, future, whether you subscribed all the way back in 2011 or if you subscribed 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago, whatever. Thank you. Participating in the Thief community here on YouTube has just added another layer of, what would I call it, rewardingness to the overall experience of playing Thief. And being a taffer on YouTube has sort of become an experience in and of itself. Being a taffer on YouTube, on DeviantArt, those have it's all Thief, but there's been so much participation literally with people all over the world. You know, I'm gonna roll it all into one big thank you. This video is for all of you. There is some other stuff I want to cover today, but let's save that for the end of the video. First, I want to at least try to provide a little bit of entertainment for the sake of levity on this happy occasion. So let's jump right into that. Here we go. By now, many of you are aware that one of my favorite silly stunts to do is to get Garrett up to nose-bleedingly high points, either by inanely climbing up to areas for no reason, or even in some cases using exploits to get places I just manifestly do not belong. Case in point mainly being the flare elevatoring technique that me and Eckmeyer demonstrated in a series of videos. I will link those videos in the description below. So recently I started doing that again. There's another video I'll link to where I was doing ill-behaved jumps at the Mage Towers from Thief Gold, and it got me to thinking, you know, what is the most extreme extent that I could push this to, you know, and still keep the setup for it feasible. And I still have save games left over from the video I made at the apex of Angel Watch, and that includes a save game with me, with Garrett, clinging for dear life to a flare at the top of the skybox above Angel Watch in the Thief 2, the Metal Age mission, Life of the Party. Now, for practical purposes, that right there is just about the tallest height you can get to in either of the first two games. And even if you adjust, probably you could roll Deadly Shadows into that. I'm not saying it's the highest. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if Little Big World is taller. I'm not a Dromed expert, but Angel, the skybox above Angel Watch is nose-bleedingly high. So I wanted to see if I could do a saving ledge grab from the top of Angel Watch. So let's see what result I get. So what you just saw, Eckmeyer and I estimate that the jump you just saw covered approximately 246 Dromed units, or approximately 205 feet. That's an estimate, but that's probably in a good guess of the near neighborhood of how far that a distance that jump involved. Not sure why. When I did the jumps at Little Big World from the top of the privacy barrier to the side of the bed, if you can grab that ledge at exactly the right distance without Garrett bouncing off it and taking a bunch of ricochet damage, either killing him or almost killing him and sending him flying. If you can grab the ledge successfully, I don't know what the physical mechanism in Dramid or in Thief is, but I guess with that, pulling himself up with those Stretch Armstrong arms, I guess he's somehow eating the momentum of the inertia of all the speed he'd built up. I don't know. But again, that stunt was accomplished with no modification to the level or cheating, just a very unreasonably tenacious use of the flare elevatoring exploit to get up there, and then falling off, deliberately moving off that flare and falling and grabbing. Did I pull that off in one attempt? Absolutely not. It was in excess of 70 attempts, but Thief inspires that level of dedication or that level of ADHD. Anyway, I wanted to see if, as far as height was concerned, there was really nothing left for me to do with this particular stunt. So I wanted to see if I couldn't change this up a bit and find another method of saving myself from those jumps. And Eckmeyer and I were working on this. Now, he had suggested that I attempt to make some use might have been made of the trapdoor in the lawn of the commons in the Mage Towers from the level Mage Towers from Thief Gold. And indeed, there is use to be made of it. I had literally just gone up onto the ramparts there for the first time to try this out, and I was pleasantly surprised by the results. Let's take a look at it. Now, what just happened there? Well, I was successfully able to duplicate this a number of times in several different places. But I myself personally am really not qualified to say much about the how or why of it. Eckmeyer has this to say, and I quote, "This jump into the hatchway was planned, but the safe landing was utterly unexpected. My best guess for what's happening is that it's triggering a known exploit, where the landing on a sufficiently sloped surface of sufficient length from any height can result in Garrett landing without taking damage. Opportunities to do this in the OMs are few, and never useful to accomplish mission objectives. I believe the complexity of the hedge maze's secret door geometry may be creating a similar loophole in how the Dark Engines reads collisions with the Garrett model's snowman-shaped physics boundaries." So, end quote. So with that in mind, I have sort of termed this method, this technique, if you will, angle breaking, because what you're doing is you are, for lack of a better way of putting it, you're jumping off of a high surface, and then you are, impacting Garrett upon an angled surface. And I don't, know the extent to which Garrett's angle of attack, as it were, matters. I don't know, what the specifications are for how angled a surface has to be. But with that input from Eckheimer, that was just enough to get the wheels in my head turning about what other surfaces I might be able to pull this off on. And at the Mage Towers, I was already there, so there were several things I wanted to try. Let's take a look at the next two results I got.
land mages the only ones allowed in. Why won't they allow us into their towers?
We're here to keep a watch on the commons and to deal with mundane threats.
I can only figure that because those two guards had engaged in a conversation, the game did something to reduce their sensitivity to Garrett's presence, and then I backed off to a distance. I mean, the light gem... I am kind of scratching my head on why I didn't scare the bejesus out of them and cause them to chase me, but I did back off to the point where it might be questionable as to whether they would have noticed me. Immediately, I don't know if performing that odd leap might have sort of interfered with how the other aspects of the game was running at that point in time. I don't know. But clearly, my first result with the trapdoor was not a fluke, and that there are, multiple different surfaces that this I guess we can call it at this point an exploit will work on. And it, neither of those second two stunts were achieved on the first try, but it actually did not take many, especially the one onto the stairs. That one really came quick. But all of this is at Mage Towers. I wanted to see if this is a general principle. So what I did was I wanted to do a different level, but of course it would need to be a level that had a high degree of verticality. And the first thing that came to my mind was Precious Cargo from Thief 2: The Metal Age. I'd done some flare elevatoring there, and I had some save games in some opportune spots. So let's see what we can achieve at the top of the skybox, above the lighthouse in Precious Cargo, and then from the top of the lighthouse itself. So there's two results from Thief 2: The Metal Age. I mean, it's working with the same... It's not really two results. It's the same, except that getting the right angle off the top of the lighthouse was a lot more difficult than getting the right angle from the flare. I did want to pull this off when I was not on a flare. I wanted to pull this off from a natural surface. So I think also that we benefited from the geometry of that electric light on the side of the lighthouse the second time, although by the time we hit that, we were already going slow enough that hitting that geometry didn't injure us. So, to push this one step further, as I had demonstrated in my video, Lethal Ascent, which again is linked in the description below, there's that huge elevator shaft in Precious Cargo, and I went up that shaft using an extremely dangerous technique. So now I wanted to see if I could go down the shaft using an extremely dangerous technique, and this is the result I got. So there you have a few examples of this new, technique that I've sort of hit upon that I call angle breaking. Now, a Paul Harrell style disclaimer. This is the boring part of the video where I just babble more than I already have, but I want to take this opportunity to make just a couple channel announcements. There's having completed the Let's Play of Thief Deadly Shadows and the Let's Play of Thief Gold, those are two very important goals I had for this channel. My vision for The Eye of Stone when I started out was that it was going to be a YouTube channel that covered all things about the OMs, all things about the commercial canon games, just about, and I am to the point with the trilogy, with the Dark Project / Gold, the Metal Age, and Deadly Shadows, where that's now been accomplished. So, is there more I'm going to do? Yes. Do I feel that in essence I've accomplished what I set out to do? Yes. If I had fallen over without having completed at least the trilogy, I could never have rested easy, but that's been done. Now, it is true that Thief 2014, whatever you want to call it, that is up next. There are a significant number of my viewers here on YouTube and my followers on DA who want to see me do it. I've said that before, so I am gonna, for those of you who want to see me do it, it's coming. For those of you who would rather see me do something else, that will happen eventually, I hope, if I live long enough, if I am able to continue having a machine that will play these games. There is no warranty on the box I have right now. If I get a box that will play newer stuff, playing the older stuff just gets that much more complicated. Going onto Patreon and asking people for money is just not my style. It's like The Eye of Stone has never been monetized. It never will be monetized. It was not about making money. And I just feel that the world has enough, YouTube channels, gamers and otherwise, who are talking about Patreon. I don't have anything against it. That's just not for me. But, so I am going to have to figure out what to do about this aged, decrepit box I have sooner or later. I would just want to throw that out there now, so something might not be a shock to everybody. As for Thief 4, according to Steam, I have 148 hours into it and 24 out of the 37 Steam achievements. For those of you who are curious about that aspect of it, I'm not saying anything about that one way or the other. I'm just throwing that info out there. That's what I have into it. That's what I go into it, setting out to do a Let's Play of it. Again, there are things about Thief 4, mainly gameplay things. There were some ideas that I liked. There were some things that were entertaining to use. I am particularly fond of the upgrade tree, at least with regards to Garrett's physical upgrades or his weapon upgrades or stuff he's carrying around. I didn't really like the focus upgrades. I will go into all that specifically. And if they absolutely had to do a city that had aged several hundred years, I also thought that they got the look of the city right. Again, to repeat myself, I'm going to go into all this, all these specifics a lot more during the game. But, there's also things about Thief 4, a great number of things which I think are questionable, a number of things which I think are silly, and then there's a bunch of stuff that I just think is flat out stupid. So, and, I can't, there's no sacred cows. It's like they either did a good job or they did a bad job as far as my irrelevant opinion is concerned. So if I see something, I'm going to call it like I see it, quickly qualifying that that's just my opinion. So for those of you who want to see Thief, my opinion of this game is not going to be what my opinion of the trilogy is. And, I'm not judging you for liking it, but, it's like I am who I am. My reaction to this game is what it is. We are doing it after all. So please don't take what I say about this game as a judgment or criticism of you. But I want to end this up once again by thanking everybody for sticking around with me for 300 videos. Hopefully you'll all stick around with me for 300 more. Also, I do have a large-scale Thief fan work in progress on DeviantArt. Hint, hint, it's not the drawings I make. If you go over to DeviantArt, you'll know it when you see it. Yes, I am, basically mentioning it here, right now. I'm not going to say specifically what it is. I'm not going to give it any pomp and circumstance here on YouTube until it is finished. And then I will probably make a video shamelessly plugging it, a video. I'm not going to make a playlist out of it. And, it's like, because again, it is a fan work that, the type of fan work it is, the internet has enough incomplete fan works of this type. Let me put it to you that way. So, thanks again, and I will see everybody back next time.